Good evening, everybody. Got a lot to talk about tonight. Try and keep it as short as possible, but we have two subjects to discuss. So we'll give it a second to let some people get in here and we'll get started. What's up, Dan? I just saw your message. So, yeah, we started a little bit late tonight. All right, so let's go ahead and talk first about this upcoming system, and then we'll dive into a little bit of potential for northern lights over the next couple of nights. So, if you guys haven't heard, we do have a system on its way for Friday into Saturday. It's going to be a messy system, a snow rain type of system. Maybe a mix of both, maybe a little bit of freezing rain there as well. Nothing significant on the freezing rains expected right now. Just go ahead and get that out of the way. Not expecting any ice storms, something like that. But it could get slushy, could get messy here over the course of the early weekend. So if we look at the model, the NAM model, go ahead and stick to this. Use the NAM, the GFS, and the Euro tonight. So go ahead and run this through Friday. We're going to go ahead and stop it right about here. Go back one. This is 7 a.m. Friday morning. You're going to see this rain and this snow mix start pushing up into the state as we get into the day on Friday. The center of the low pressure down here in Missouri starts to dive a little bit, not dive, but it starts to move a little bit north here. And we have a bunch of snow up here in central Michigan, and the rain snow line is right here, right along I-94 from about Flint, Detroit areas, all the way down toward back to the Kalamazoo area. Now, what's going to be most difficult about this system is determining where that rain snow line is going to set up, because that's going to determine the difference between somebody getting a couple inches versus nothing at all. So we have put out a forecast for our subscribers. It's going to go live on the page here in 10 minutes. It explains a little bit of what we're talking about, and it also includes our forecast map and graphic. So that rain snow line is going to be subject to change over the next coming, we'll say 36 hours. Okay. The NAM model, go ahead and talk accumulation wise. The NAM model is a little bit, I believe it's stronger than usual, or right about middle ground here. It has accumulation between 2 and 4 inches for a swath here in central Michigan. So nothing significant, but it is enough to get the roads covered and cause slick conditions, and definitely cover the grass, make a snowman if you want to. So it's accumulating snow is likely. It's just going to be dependent on how that's going to set up and how far north that can get. That's the NAM model. Go ahead and look at the European model, and we'll go ahead and use the exact same. Actually, I don't think I can. Go ahead and use the. Can I use this? No, I can't. Okay, let's go ahead and use the total snowfall accumulation here on the Euro. And we're going to go ahead and move this through. It's a little bit further south than the NAM, as you can see here. We have accumulations through Saturday morning, right along that 2 to 4 range for a little bit wider area here in southern Michigan. This is a European model, so it's a little bit further south, a little bit wider, but also it's a tad bit weaker than the NAM model. And then lastly, look at the GFS model. The GFS is not, I'm not really using this model right now, but we'll go ahead and look at it to see what it's telling us. Again, looking at the snowfall accumulation, it's kind of scattered a little bit further north here, and also much weaker. Now, the GFS does have a little bit of a warm bias right now going on, which is probably accompanying for why we're not seeing as high as snowfall accumulations. It's also a little bit further north than what we think is going to happen. So when all is said and done, Friday morning, expect a rain to start initially in southern Michigan. And as that system pushes north, it could change over to snow. And it's going to depend on where that snow rain line sets up. Is going to really just depend on who's going to get the snow versus who's going to get rain. Right now, our going forecast is this, okay? We have the rain snow line set up right along I-94 up into the Pontiac, Detroit area, and areas north there in a 1 to 3 plus. Now, we're not going to go high right now in the accumulation just because we want more confidence on this forecast, okay? Once we have more confidence, we will raise these totals probably to 2 to 4, potentially maybe 6 inches in spots. But again, confidence right now is quite low in that happening. So we're going to go ahead and just say 1 to 3 plus for now, with potential for, maybe a 2 to 4, 5, 6 in isolated spots possible. Now, When it comes to the mixing and freezing rain, that's going to really depend on, again, where that rain snow line sets up. And that's going to probably be somewhere along that Detroit to Kalamazoo and maybe points just a little bit north of there. But again, we're not expecting accumulation of freezing rain. So it should be very short lived, and impacts from that will be very minimal, if any at all. With that being said, this is going to last into Saturday morning. So it's going to start on Friday morning, and the impacts are going to be felt through Saturday morning into the afternoon time frame. So the road should start to improve by Saturday afternoon for most of us who are traveling as well. And I'll go ahead and I know we skipped over Saturday, but we'll go back to the model here and go back to the NAM model. And we're going to go ahead and look at the radar all the way through Saturday here, just so I have covered that. I don't believe I covered into Saturday, so I want to do that before I move on. So we look at our precipitation type. This is going to be hour by hour here. This is Thursday night. Looking at a few rain showers in the area, and the system moves up from the south. This is Friday morning at 4 a.m. This is going to be Friday morning at 7 a.m. You start seeing this rain snow mix in here. And then this is going to be 10 a.m. This is going to be 1 p.m. Friday. This is going to be 4 p.m. Friday. This is going to be 7 p.m. Friday. And then it's going to hang around here into the evening hours. And it might turn to more to a snow type of event here. I know it's showing rain, but as we get the nocturnal cooling, we could have a little bit more of the way of snow than rain for most of us here. Then as we get into Saturday morning, we're still seeing these snow showers linger around. This is 7 a.m. Saturday morning, and by the afternoon time frame, it clears out. So allow snow plows to get out there and clear most of the slush off the roads. So that's your time frame, Friday to Saturday. Right now, calling for 1 to 3, and it's going to really just heavily depend on where that rain snow line sets up. Okay, a little bit further look. We usually offer these maps to subscribers. We'll go ahead and show you guys just because we're all on here. We have 175 people in the building. Shout out to you guys. A little bit of a zoomed in look here for Detroit. We have that rain snow line setting up right around that Pontiac to Brighton, all the way through Washtenaw County. Areas north of there, we currently have 1 to 3 plus. And looking at Grand Rapids area, we also have that 1 to 3 and the rain snow line right along I-94 here. So Kalamazoo, Battle Creek right now, kind of a toss up, could go either way. Lansing could go either way. You're pretty close to that rain snow line. Again, this is going to shift, and it's going to shift around between now and 36 hours from now. So again, subject to change, but there's your zoomed in looks for both Grand Rapids and Detroit, Detroit areas. We are getting maps for Northern Michigan and the UP made currently. Those should be ready for the next system we have coming in the next week timeframe. So 7 to 10 days, we'll have maps for the northern parts of Michigan as well. So I know locals have been asking for those. Those are coming. I promise you. All right. With that being said, I want to focus very briefly now before I head to chat on the potential for Aurora. I know a lot of people here are watching the potential for this. We did have quite a strong eruption, a solar flare happen yesterday from the sun, and that was hurled directly at Earth. We call it a coronal mass ejection, or a CME. That's what's going to arrive and cause the potential for Aurora. Now, the going forecast tonight actually does call for potential for the Aurora, although right now nothing has impacted our outer satellites. So likely we're still a few hours away from seeing any type of activity tonight, although it is expected to be pretty weak tonight. G1, KP5 levels, that is possible north of Mount Pleasant. If you have clear skies, it could be visible. But again, nothing has hit our satellites yet. But we do have some indications here looking at our satellite. We do have some rises in what we call protons here, indicating something could be close to impacting, but nothing has impacted yet. When we look at our magnetic field, we see a pretty stable magnetic field here. Nothing has impacted. We'd usually see this bunch of squiggly lines here where something impacts. So again, nothing happening now, but it's possible into the night we could see weak Aurora, potentially moderate Aurora, but Mount Pleasant North would be on alert for that. Wouldn't expect it to be any further south. But tomorrow night is the big night. Now, this is tonight's forecast of the Aurora. We see the red view line right here, all the way through Maine into central Michigan, all the way through the Dakotas, up into Idaho and Washington. But tomorrow night is KP7 is the forecast for that. The view line goes all the way down into Ohio and Indiana. It's a G3 storm, KP7 levels, which means it is going to be possibly visible if it arrives on time and as expected, potentially visible overhead for most of Michigan. So you're not looking on the northern horizon, you look over your heads and also to the north, because that's where they come from. So look north primarily, but don't forget to look over your heads. If it's strong enough like we think it will be, it is possible you could see it over your head. Okay. Now, people are going to ask, What's the cloud cover like for tomorrow? And that is going to be a big, big question. Now, these cloud cover maps here have been pretty inaccurate lately. I will suggest that we stay away from the NAM and the NAM 3, but I do want to show you a few of these models here. But I also want to put it with a grain of salt that these maps have been pretty inaccurate over the course of the past month or two on exact cloud cover. Now, looking forward, here we go. This is going to be what we call the GEM model. It's actually used for winter forecasting a lot. So the black is clear skies, the white is clouds. Now, currently in Michigan, if you look at satellite now, we have only a patch of clouds up here by the Mackinac area up here. That's our only really cloud in the sky in Michigan right now. But this model seems to have a little bit more cloud cover here. This is supposedly live here. It says we have clouds all the way through the thumb, up in Traverse City, up into the Gaylord area. Now this is wrong. Okay, this is an example of what we could be looking like tomorrow. But if we go into tomorrow's time frame, because tomorrow is really the big show everyone's talking about, we'll go into the tomorrow time frame. This is tomorrow at 8 p.m. We see a pretty thick cloud deck across southern Michigan, broken clouds up here in northern Michigan. But if we go a little bit further in the evening, we still see a little bit of clear skies if you're north of that Mount Pleasant, Grand Rapids area. If you are south of there, we may have a few broken clouds. You could potentially look up and see it. But again, if you go north of Grand Rapids, Lansing area, you have a better shot at seeing clear skies. This is the RDPS model, also known as the GEM model. And this particular forecast is for midnight right here. This is going to be midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. We start seeing it clear out a little bit further. The UP is clear. And from there, we have a system, which is that system we just talked about, the rain snowmaker, moving in Friday morning, which is going to bring in clouds for a lot of us. So potential is there for clear skies in parts of Michigan. Again, take it with a grain of salt. These models tend to be pretty inaccurate. It could go either way here, but right now we do expect clouds to for sure move in when that system starts moving north into the area early Friday morning. So what we want to happen is an earlier in the day impact, maybe say 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., allow this aurora to build its intensity. And when by the time you see sunset and after sunset, we hopefully have a storm ongoing with clear skies clearing out for some of us in central and northern parts of the lower Michigan and also parts of the UP. All right. With that being said, I want to look at chat here to answer questions about either the winter storm or the aurora. So if you guys have questions, drop them now. I'll get those answered for you. Go ahead and hop in chat here. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button if you're heading out. Would appreciate that. Also, the forecast just went live on the page if you want to see that map for yourself. The zoomed in looks are currently for subscribers only. We will post those probably tomorrow. We give our subscribers access to everything we can before we put it public, just give them a little bit of a incentive to subscribe to us. So really, really do appreciate those people who do subscribe. But we look at those public here probably tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, I don't expect this to be a very big freezing rain scenario. I'm just seeing some potential for it across we'll say between I-96 and I-94. But again, not expecting impacts right now to be felt from the freezing rain, if there's any at all. Appreciate that comment, Mary. We try our best. We're not going to be 100% accurate. We're going to be wrong some of the time. It's just how weather forecasting goes, but we really strive for accuracy. That's our number one goal here. Let's see here. Any other questions that I see? Pretty quiet chat tonight, guys. If you guys got questions, now it's time to drop them in there. Watching for clouds dissipate. Yeah, I'm hopeful. We just got to cross our fingers. It is Michigan after all. Let's see here. How does that affect traffic for the system coming in on Friday? So the morning maybe I'm going to say the morning will probably be better than the evening, and that's because the system moves in pretty early in the morning. So it won't have much time to accumulate on the roads, but it still will have some time. So both could be affected, but I would definitely lean toward Friday afternoon and evening commutes and also Saturday morning commutes to be the worst of it. But still not going to write off the Friday morning definitely being a possibility for some impacts there. Yeah, the first 10 minutes of the broadcast was talking about the winter storm. Looking at, go ahead and go back here to our map here. Go ahead and switch it back over to the state view. So take your comment off the screen. So right now it's going to depend heavily on that rain snow line where it sets up. North of that rain snow line, 1 to 3 plus, we could see 2 to 4, maybe 5 or 6 in spots. But right now we're going conservative just till we have some more confidence. Some models are hinting at 6, some models are hinting at 2 to 4. Right now, the 1 to 3 is going to be the going forecast. And then again, it could shift north or south here. We could see these snow totals be raised north toward Ludington and Cadillac there, or we could see it shift a little bit further south. Right now, we're thinking a little bit further north, but right now, the big story is going to be who's going to see rain, who's going to see snow, because that rain snow line can shift by a county or two worse. So it could shift all the way up toward Grand Rapids if these models really don't have a feel for it. So we'll have to see how the next 24 hours goes. We'll have an update for you guys tomorrow evening. We'll go live again about 7 o'clock, same time. So if you want an update, tune in there. We'll also have forecast out in the afternoon for you guys to look at too. It's going to start tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Sorry, Friday morning. Friday morning, right around the 7 a.m. time frame, you should start to see the first impacts being felt here in southern Michigan. Yeah, Jason, grab me a 6 pack. No, I'm kidding. No, if you guys want to go stock up on bread and milk, go for it. It's not going to be that significant of a storm, but it will impact travel more than likely here in the impacted area here, primarily in the area in blue. Yeah, Drew, that's another thing. So the snow is going to be heavy at times. It's going to be heavy, wet snow. It's not going to be the dry, fluffy type. It's going to be the heavy, wet snow. So heart conditioned people, especially, avoid shoveling. Try and get someone to do it for you. Just it's going to be heavy, wet, and also the slushy type of snow can also grab your tires and really kind of throw you around the road. So definitely be careful there. Snowfall rates, Drew, I'd say between I'd say a quarter inch and an inch per hour. I think we'll probably max out right around the inch per hour range, but we'll see. It's still a little bit further. We like to see a little bit get further. Or wow, I'd like to get a little bit closer to the event to kind of nail down the snowfall rates and also time frames. We could see those snowfall rates. Hopefully, we have that nailed down by tomorrow, which we should. I think the 1 to 3 range, Joey, is going to be on the lower end of things. We always start conservative and start working our way up, just because we always like to. We don't like to hype things. We went ahead and posted a forecast today for 4 to 6, and you're seeing on the news maybe a couple inches. You're going to see, all right, well, and then if this thing downtrends, then we look kind of stupid for that. We always like to start small and work our way up. I think 1 to 3 is the low end of things. I think 4 to 6 is the high end of things. Okay, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Shelly, we're not going to know specifics for Aurora. We get this question all the time. So when it comes to Aurora, we always have to look to our outer satellites first. Now, the most warning we're going to have is approximately 1 hour, so 60 to about 90 minutes out. We look on our dashboard here. This is our satellite. It's called ACE. It can also be called Discover. There's a couple satellites out there. It's about an hour away from Earth. The data we see here gives us about 1 hour of warning. So we really do not know, besides the satellite imagery, or not satellite, but besides the imagery that we had from the ejection, they would kind of estimate the speed on that and estimate arrival time. Other than that, we have no idea. So the best thing to do, download an app or follow our page. We'll have our updates whenever we can see it. So if there's nothing on our page, most likely not going to happen, or not happening, should I say. We really just can't predict exact timings for Aurora, especially hours in advance. Do we have any major storms approaching? Right now, no, but I will say we do have quite an active pattern on the GFS. Now, we can go ahead and dive into that briefly if you want to. We'll go ahead and switch over here to the GFS. We'll cover this very quickly, 30 seconds. We go ahead and loop the storm system precipitation type. Watch how many systems we have. This is going out to December 15th, so next 15 days, okay? Here's one system, 2 systems, 3 systems, a little bit of a break. Then past this, we start getting an accuracy with the GFS. We have another system moving in here. So it's a very active pattern continuing into the early parts of December. So it's definitely expect more in the way of winter pattern coming up. But we're kind of in that phase right now on the upper level jet that kind of favors both that rain snow type of mixture of a system. I think we have to wait until at least January or maybe late December to get a significant major snowstorm. I'm talking like 6 to 8 plus for like statewide. I know we had 6 to 8 in areas a couple days ago, but on a statewide basis, that's not going to be lake effect like a synoptic type of system. I would say look toward late December into early January. There is indication that we could have a little bit of a cold pattern coming up after Christmas. That would be when I would start looking for more significant snowfall. Yeah, Don, a little bit too early for the rain snow line. We went ahead and put the graphic out now, but I think that's going to shift if anywhere a little bit further north. So I don't want to say specifics, but just I best advice I can give you is come back to the page tomorrow, check out our forecast. If you want to watch our live stream tomorrow night, we'll do the exact same thing we're doing right now, and we'll go from there. Flint definitely, Bill has a better potential to stay snow, but I would not be shocked to see some rain mixing in briefly up there as of right now. Again, subject to change, but Flint is far enough north that I would definitely call more of a snow than a rain type of pattern for right now. Heavy, wet snow. Yep. Glad to see you on here, Ionia County. Shout out to you guys. But yeah, it's gonna be heavy, wet snow, guys. Unfortunately, the tough time or the tough kind to shovel, and yeah, it's not the most enjoyable kind at all. Make a snowman pretty easy, but gonna be a nightmare to shovel. What is it with Michigan people becoming obsessed with French toast when there's a tiny type of system coming? Oh man. Oh, I love it. Just came back from Florida and it was so nice. I envy you, Joey. I know Florida down there was actually hitting about 40s and 50s over the past couple of days. So I know they're getting some colder type of weather. 40s and 50s, we take that now in Michigan. Let's be honest. We over the 15 to 20 degree low temperatures and 30-degree high. No, give us Florida temperatures, man. People down there are all bundled up. I'm kind of envying. Like I'd be in shorts down there. Like, come on. January, February, worst months for winter. I'd say I would agree with that. January and February especially seem to be cold, and then as we get into late February into March, we start talking ice storms, and yeah, definitely not a fan of those months. Ben, downriver is looking mainly like rain right now. Again, that could change, but for right now, I'd say mainly a rain forecast with some snow showers mixing in would be a good bet for you Friday and Saturday. Time for Friday, it's going to start Friday morning right around 7 a.m., give or take a few hours, depending on where you're at in Michigan. We'll start moving into the state early Friday morning. It'll last through Saturday evening. That is all I see for comments and questions. So, guys, if you guys have anything to add, go ahead and add them in now, and I'll get to it. Yeah, Sturgis, you're going to be far enough south right now. We have some confidence to say you're going to see mostly rain for this. Yep, Sheila, that's going to be correct. Their howl could go either way. I lean more toward a mix for you guys for sure. We'll have to see what the models look like tomorrow. Like again, looking at the model, it's going to be really dependent on where that rain snow line sets up. And I know the Euro is south. Let's go back and look at the Euro really quick for those of you who just joined us. The Euro right now with the accumulation is further south here. So only areas like in Monroe and maybe South Detroit there, parts of Lenawee get missed by the Euro, but it gives a nice 2 to 4 swath here across a good majority of central Michigan and southern Michigan. But if we look at the NAM model, it's going to be further north. We also have a couple other models we can look at as well that we didn't show. This is going to be the NAM model. We see that the rain snow line further north here across 96 into 94 area back here to Kalamazoo. But if we look at the GEM model, mainly a winter model we look at, but this is going to have around the exact same. Actually, we can't look at this. It's not far enough out. I apologize for that. We look at the G. Can we look at this one? We can. See if this one goes out. This one does go out. And the GEM model is also a bit further north as well, although we usually lean to the European model until we get into range about 24 hours out. So the Euro is kind of why we're still sticking with a little bit further south than other models right now. But again, it's also subject to change here as we get into tomorrow, and that probably will change likely. All right, let's see here. Yeah, we appreciate you, Leonard. Thank you for that comment. Nothing to sing about in northern lower. Nope. The furthest north we're going to probably see snow is going to be that Cadillac Ludington line. I don't see it going further north than then, maybe a few snow showers, but otherwise, I don't see much in the way of impactful weather for you at all. Again, looking at the precipitation type, we see the bulk of this stays south of you up there in northern lower. Stays pretty much even with the Tri Cities over toward the Ludington area. What changes are we anticipating with the rain snow line? You mean, Dan? I would, if I'm gonna make a change, if I had to make a change right now to this map, it'd be shifting that rain snow line, the rain line, should I say, a little bit further north. Not significant, maybe a half county north is what I'd do right now if I had to change something. Um, and then if we have more confidence tomorrow with snowfall totals being a bit higher, I'd definitely bump it up to probably the 2 to 4 or 2 to 5 range. We'll have to see what happens. Yeah, Jeff, it's going to be mostly all rain for Lenawee County. Wouldn't be shocked to see a few snow showers mixed in, but the accumulating snow looks to stay pretty much north of us right now. Yeah, the NAM is definitely one of the strongest ones that we're seeing right now, but the Euro is pretty much the trusted go-to for mid to long-term winter forecasting, and I kind of hold true to the Euro, little bit impartial to it, so that's why I kind of favor this model, the NAM especially. Although I really like the way the HRRR has forecast the last two winter events we've had. It was almost spot on as we get closer to about the 24 to 12 hours out. Kind of tune into the HRRR now. It would give us a really good idea, I think, of what to expect. Genesee, Livingston, Ingham County, Shiawassee. You guys are going to be right on that area there. Again, Livingston and Ingham County there. I would definitely say you guys are going to be right on that rain snow line. But Shiawassee and Genesee could be on that rain snow line as well. But Shiawassee County, you'd be more in the snow line, I would think. Any other questions? Caroline, it's going to start Friday morning. It's going to end Saturday afternoon to evening time frame. You should see it clearing up by Saturday about noon, I would say, and then road should be clear um, by Saturday evening. Rochester, you're going to be right on that rain snow line. Although I'd go ahead and say snow for you, or sorry, rain for you guys. I don't think you're going to see much in the way of any accumulation based off what we're looking at tonight. Yeah, Dan, I'd say the rain snow line with winter is pretty sharp. If you are the unlucky half mile to mile stretch that gets cut down on the accumulation, possibly, but it's a really sharp cutoff here. If we look at our precipitation again, our precipitation type, you can see that these cutoffs between, or sorry, our accumulation type, should I say? Look at the snow here. If we go ahead and run this through Saturday morning here, look at the rain snow line, for example. I wish I could zoom in. Can I zoom in further here? Yeah, I can. All right, cool. Look how tight these accumulation lines are. So if you are in, we'll go ahead and just use. I think this is Genesee County. I think this is Genesee County. If we use just any particular county here, we're going to see 0 inches. But if we go like a mile north, we're talking four inches. And there's like a little teensy tiny mile or two stretch here that has these 1.7, 2.5 all along that edge. It's a really sharp gradient here, which is why winter forecasting is so difficult to forecast. So if you're unlucky enough to get in the rain snow mix line area, yeah, but otherwise it should be a pretty sharp gradient between, four, maybe 2 to 4 inches, and then nothing at all. So that's what makes winter forecasting so hard. And a lot of people are upset over that, but they really can't change that. It's really hard to depict that and forecast that too far in advance. Wayne County, you guys are going to be mostly rain, if not all rain. Big fat zero for the UP. Yep, but watch for the next system coming up early next week. I did see a system impacting the UP. Nothing significant right now, but it could change. So just pay attention to that for the UP up there. Temps are going to be right around that freezing mark, Dawn, which is why we're not going to see. It's why we're going to see wet snow versus dry snow. But it's going to be right around that freezing mark for most of us here. What time is the most of the accumulation expected? So if we go back to the model, this is going to be Friday at 7 a.m. Now watch what happens. This is 3 hours. So between Friday at, we'll go ahead and say Friday at 9 a.m. and Friday evening. So between 9 a.m. Friday and early evening Friday, so we'll say 9 to 6. We're going to get a few inches of accumulation there. I'd say that'd be the bulk of it would fall between that time frame. Macomb County, you guys gonna be running that rain snow line. I would lean more toward rain for you guys. Shiawassee County, I'd lean more towards snow for you guys. St. Clair County could go either way for you. I lean more towards snow. Hillsdale County, rain. Clare County, I believe you guys are going to be mostly snow. If I believe it's to Clare County, I'm thinking of. Let me double check that really quick. Nope, you guys are gonna be on that line between snow and no snow. A little bit different line. Claire, I could see you guys getting an inch or two of accumulation, but right now the bulk of it looks to stay to your south. But yeah, you guys would be in the snow if anything were to fall. Yeah, no problem, Danny. Ask away. I'm an open book here. Love to answer questions. Any other questions, guys? Oakland County, you guys were in the rain, right in that rain snow line there. I would lean more toward rain for you right now. Again, this is probably going to shift a little bit between now and tomorrow. Um, So definitely pay attention to our forecast tomorrow as well for any updates or changes that we make for this. Washtenaw County looking mainly like rain. Again, could see some snow showers mix in, but the accumulation should stay to your north there in Washtenaw County. Coppersville. I do not know where that's at. Are you talking Coopersville or I guess it's Coopersville, isn't it? Coopersville is not on any I wouldn't be too concerned right now if you're over there. If you're just north of Muskegon, correct? You guys are gonna be right in that rain snow, or not the rain snow, but the snow to no snow line. Definitely possible you could see accumulation, but I would definitely lean more toward the lighter end of that accumulation for you guys. No, Joey, not expecting accumulation on freezing rain, although we could see a brief window for it. Not going to be significant enough to cause issues. Janice, that's going to be. I think the 1 to 3 is going to be the lower end of things. I think the high end of thing would be like 3 to 6. So we could up that tomorrow on our forecast. Just pay attention to that. But I do see this being maybe a 2 to 4 in between, maybe an inch or so on each side type of event for you guys up there. Raymond, the trend today is a shift north with that rain snow line. So like I said about 10 minutes ago, I'd say any changes I have to make like right now, I would bump that rain snow line up just a bit, but not significantly enough until we have a little bit further of a model consensus with that. Just because the euro is more trusted and the euro is actually south of that rain snow line, so we're just kind of giving a middle ground right now. Yeah, it will change, Jeff. Yeah, the snow is going to be heavy, wet snow, so sloppy, slushy mess. Be prepared for that. All right, Lake Orion. Lake Orion, you're going to be in that rain snow line area, although I'd lean more toward snow for you guys right now, although that could change. Malcolm County, right now, you're in the snow area. I'd say 1 to 3 plus is possible. All right, any more questions? Jackson Hillsdale looking mainly like a rain event for you guys. All right, what do we want to do for winds and Friday evening, Saturday morning for winds? Check it out. Let's go over here to our NAM. Let's go to the surface. Let's go to actually I want the NAM 3. Let's go to surface wind gusts. Go to the Midwest view. You said Friday evening, Saturday morning. Let's go ahead and run this through. So Friday evening, Saturday morning, looking at it says northeast winds. So winds out of the northeast blowing to the southwest. That's for Friday night. It looks like it shifts to a more easterly during the day on Friday, and then into Friday evening into Saturday morning, it kind of shifts out of the northeast. Ingham County, you guys are in the snow area, but it could go either way, just depending on where that rain snow line sets up. 20 miles west of Port Huron, you guys currently are in the snow area, I'd say, but it definitely could change in future outlooks. The rain snow line is going to be heavily dictating of who's going to see snow, who's going to see rain. Because as we just talked about earlier, I know a lot of people are just joining, but we talked earlier about how crucial and how significant these changes are with the rain snow line. So we go ahead and, for example, just move it through the day on Saturday. We zoom in here. Look how sharp these gradient lines are. If you are up here just north of Ann Arbor here, there's 0 inches in this county. But we go just a few miles north and bam, you're at 4 or 5 inches. So this is going to be the difference between, the rain snow line sets up. It's going to be the difference between somebody getting nothing and somebody getting 4 or 5 potential inches. So it's going to heavily dictate and heavily depend on where that rain snow line sets up. Is going to really can't drive that home hard enough for people, because people expect 4 to 6 inches, but then if the rain snow line sets up 10 miles north and you're in that 10-mile area, whoops, there goes your 4 to 6 forecast to 0. Will we see the Aurora in Malcolm County? Is it Montcalm? Okay, thank you, Mark. Right now, tonight, nothing has hit our outer satellites yet. This is a satellite about an hour away from Earth. We would see impacts on the satellite before Earth impact. So nothing right now, but tomorrow night we do expect there to be quite the storm if it arrives as anticipated. And the view line is down here in Ohio and Indiana right now. Your area is definitely in an area where you could see some clearing. Let's go back to the model here and take a zoom out and go back to the RDPS Gen model. If we look at the clouds here and take a look at your area, we're going to see that the clouds likely could, I'm not going to say likely, but could clear out there. I know you guys are up here. You're in that clear just after midnight. So if it arrives as expected tomorrow evening, yes, you may have a shot at seeing it, Monica. Yes, Susan, Monroe, just rain. Definitely not seeing much in the way of any snow accumulation, especially with Lake Erie there, closer to Lake Erie, Telegraph, I-75 areas and east. But you could see some snow showers mix in, but nothing accumulation-wise is expected right now. So yeah, just pay attention to our forecast tomorrow as things can change for sure. All right, guys. 90 of you still on here. Appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like button on your way out. I'm going to wrap this up here. So again, recapping, 1 to 3 plus inches possible between Friday morning and Saturday afternoon. It's going to heavily dictate where that rain snow line sets up. It's going to heavily dictate who's going to see rain, who's going to see snow. We could see more than 3 inches in spots, potentially up to 5 or 6. Again, waiting for more confidence and more consensus with the models. And then also with the Aurora, potential does exist tonight, although nothing has impacted our satellite yet. Still watching here. If anything does happen, we'll post to the page. Again, tomorrow night, visible Aurora, all of Michigan, possible if it arrives as expected, and we have clear skies. So again, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later.